So with Bitcoin here at just about $50,000 per Bitcoin, dipping slightly below that last night, 26% correction on this. Is it time to buy? I want to show you guys a couple of data points here, get right into it to help you with this decision. I'm going to tell you straight up, I did buy some Bitcoin last night. And hey, if you guys want to see my Bitcoin portfolio, it's not all that big, but if you guys want to see it, I'd be more than happy to do that in another video. Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, I want to point out a few things here for Bitcoin, okay? So what I've done is I've kind of zoomed out a little because, people, when corrections happen, they tend to just focus on this. They just look at the charts like this. They're like, oh my gosh, everything's crashing. I don't know what's going to happen. Is this the end for Bitcoin or whatever asset it is? And all I tell them to do is step one, zoom out. Get a broader perspective. So if we zoom out, it gives us a much better idea here, guys, of how volatile this asset class is. We can see since the beginning of 2021, this is about 4 months now, we have had multiple double-digit corrections, okay? In mid-Jan, we had a 31% correction. And then what happened? The stock bounced much higher, made new all-time highs. And then we pulled back another 26.95%, a 27% correction. What happened? We pulled back, made new highs. And then we pulled back 18%. Smaller correction, but still nearly 20%. What happened? We found support, pulled back, and made new all-time highs. And now, most recently, we've pulled back 26.59% from the highs. And guess what happens next? My guess is we bounce back and make new highs. Now, have we found the level of support that, signals to me that, hey, this is probably a good time to buy? I think that actually may be possible. I think that actually may be the case right now. So we can see I have some moving averages on here. Bitcoin respects these moving averages quite well. You can see the 50 moving average, which is the green line. You know what? I'm going to get rid of these just so it's easier to visualize this. So we can see that the green line here is a 50 moving average. And every time we come down to this, we find some support, we bounce off, would bounce off, bounce off. Most recently, we found some support. We started, trying to bounce off of it. But then we broke down lower because a combination of things happened, guys. Coinbase IPO'd, and that was seen as an underwhelming IPO, so it's kind of like the quote-unquote temporary peak in the crypto market. Then, of course, a lot of attention went to Dogecoin, and that started crashing, so people started getting fears about Bitcoin. There were rumors, which were absolute rumors, I don't think they hold any truth, that Bitcoin would get taxed, something ridiculous like 70 or 80% on your gains. Again, these led to more fears. And then yesterday we got some news that capital gains tax is coming. And there's just a lot of FUD being spread around right now. And this has caused a 25% correction in this asset. So what am I doing? Well, what I always do with the things that I want to own long term, I buy the dip. We can see here that we've come down now to the 100 moving average on the daily chart. And at this point, it seems like it's a pretty decent level of support for the stock. So if I draw a horizontal line here, we can see that at this point, it seems to be a pretty good level for this asset. I may be interchanging stock and asset a lot in this, but you get the point. I'm talking about Bitcoin here. Anyways, right here, we can see we had strong resistance. Once we broke past it, came back, tested it a few times. Again, it acted as resistance, broke past, acted as support, and now again it's acting as support. This could be a double bottom here, guys. This was a level I was watching to add more to, and last night we hit this. I funded my account with a little bit more cash and I bought a little bit more, and I think that there's a good probability at this point we may actually have bottomed out on Bitcoin. Now, does that mean we're not going to go lower? Absolutely not. Anything's possible in especially in the world of cryptocurrencies. But say we go lower, okay, what's the worst case I see? I think if we go lower, the next level of strong support is probably going to be around here, which coincides with the 200 moving average. We have the 200 moving average, we have this strong level of previous resistance, which is now support. So I think if anything, Bitcoin comes down, bounces off of this, and then we gain some ground, reversed, and then possibly start moving higher to make new highs. Of course, it's easy to look in hindsight and be like, well, it held at these levels before. Those were buy points, but now this time it broke it, so we should be cautious and we shouldn't be buying. Guys, past charts only indicate what happened in the past. It doesn't necessarily mean what's going to happen in the future, but we can use probability and we can use historical data like this to kind of create a good entry point, a good point to average in, dollar cost average into these assets. And hey, that's pretty much all I think we can do with something like Bitcoin, where it's really hard to actually fundamentally analyze this. So I think charts are pretty much your best bet here. So anyways, in summary, before I show you another piece of data point which signals a possible bottom, we can see that we've come down to a major support level. It's bounced off a bit previous. It used to be a resistance level before, and it looks like we're getting bought up here. We did dip a little below this, but then I got bought up pretty quick. And Bitcoin here at around 50,000, slightly below 50,000, I think is a pretty good long-term buy. Now, if you choose to buy this, remember, it's at your own risk. It's a highly risky, highly volatile asset, and you have to be prepared to lose it all in this because, hey, maybe tomorrow comes out and there's something better than Bitcoin, or cryptocurrency turns out to be this big fraud or whatever. This thing could come crashing down. So you have to be prepared for that, and you have to be ready to hold this for a very long time to actually realize some profit. Now, in terms of my prediction, I think that $100,000 by the end of 2021, which would probably take us to about here, by the end of the year, I think we have a good chance of getting up to here. We may see a nice bounce back, bounce back, bounce, and then probably end off the year close to 100,000. That's my prediction. We'll see if that actually happens. Let me know your prediction in the comments down below. But either way, let me show you this other piece of info that I found on Twitter. So I followed this Twitter account called Documenting Bitcoin. It's pretty good actually. And we can see here that they posted a chart of Bitcoin's hash rate. So before I show you the chart, let me just explain what the hash rate is. And one of the comments here did a good job of that. No, it's not this, but it actually is a measurement of the strength of the Bitcoin network. In other words, it's the amount of computer power that is mining Bitcoin and keeping the network running. So this is, in other words, how many transactions are going through and all that kind of stuff. So the higher the hash, the better it is for Bitcoin. Now, another comment that I found interesting was that China actually had a power blackout. So a lot of mining was kind of taken out for a little while. So that caused the hash rate to plunge. That possibly was the reason that Bitcoin plunged. Again, a lot of events that happened in the last few weeks that caused this to have some sort of negative reaction. But it seems like things are reversing, guys. Let me show you. So here we can see that since, this big dip that we've had here, I guess this was kind of the build up to maybe the Coinbase IPO, not entirely sure. But either way, we peaked and then we came back down in kind of a flash crash, if you will, very steep correction. And now we seem to have found some sort of bottom, and we are starting to show signs of recovering to get back into this channel. So this we can see is a pretty clear channel between here and here. We're kind of at the bottom of that. Once we break past that, we'll be back in the channel, and that'll signify that, hey, Bitcoin, things are back on track. There was just kind of a quick scare that people had, and business as usual in this asset. So guys, let me know again in the comments what your plans are with Bitcoin. Did you buy this dip? I'll be curious to hear. Again, I did buy a little bit last night on this big dip. I don't really know if we're going to go much lower, but if we go down to like say 40,000, I'll tell you right now, I will be buying some more at that point. Anyways, guys, hope this video was useful. Let me know in the comments down below if it was. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.